Hi again. Welcome back to Zeeth Medium. I'm Jay Silver, and I have no particular reason to make this video, but I wanted to because it was just such a weird experience to have, you know? Obviously, you've read the title. Yeah. I experienced my first occasion of sleep paralysis, which is a very bizarre experience to go through for those who haven't. And for those who don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's basically the function of being in a dream state, but I don't know how to describe it. Having like consciousness over your eyes in a way. Being conscious that you're in a dream and having control over your eyes, but being unable to move or being unable to talk, you know? So you're awake, but you can't do anything because your brain is protecting you. If you don't know, when you enter the REM state of sleep, which is the dream state, your body kind of blocks, your brain blocks your body from doing functions such as moving and whatnot, typically to help protect you from enacting your dream in the real world and potentially injuring yourself. So sleep paralysis is just waking up but still being in that. It's like a weird middle ground kind of area, and it just messes with everything. But I wanted to talk about this because I haven't experienced sleep paralysis before. And as I'm recording this, I think it was 2 nights ago that I finally had that experience. And it was strange because it was a night that was no different from any other night that I've had. You know, it was a Friday night. I had just finished a 4-day week at work at my summer job. I was exhausted. It was like 2, 3 in the morning, and I was finally going to sleep. And so I had done the usual things. I had done my night routine as it came through, and then I went to sleep. Right, everything's normal. And I should start by saying that over the past year or so, I've begun having dreams that I had like years ago, maybe even a decade ago. I've been having those same dreams from when I was a kid, but kind of updated in a sense. Like, I don't remember them off the top of my head, but the moment I'm in the dream, I recognize that they're the exact same dream I've had before, for some reason. And it's not like I had watched anything overly crazy beforehand, so I don't know what influenced my brain to go where it did. But I had another one of those reoccurring dreams, in a sense. And whereas before I was kind of just in a, miscellaneous warehouse with like a really tall ceiling. Beforehand, it used to be, kind of dark and everything. It used to be, just typical warehouse stuff. There was, really tall shelves with various woods, metals, fabrics on it. It was quite empty and a very echoey kind of place in my old dream. In this dream, it was kind of updated to my my summer job, because I work at kind of a warehouse kind of place in its own right, and so it's kind of updated to that. Pretty similar, not that different. But it started with that, me being at my summer job. And of course, 2 days have gone by since I've had the dream, so I'm a little foggy on some of the details. But I go to sleep at 3, and I'm back in this state, and I immediately know I've had this dream before, right? Now, I say dream, I should be saying nightmare, because it's scary. It was scary to me. If I explain it to you, it's not going to be scary. And I am going to explain it to you, and even if you hear it, it's not going to be scary. But as we all know, dreams kind of amplify and exaggerate things. So even if it's not scary to you when you're awake, it can be scary to you when you're asleep for whatever reason. And this was a case of that, where the actual instance itself, the actual thing itself was not terrifying. But in that moment, in that dream, something in me thought it was in danger. Something within me thought that was a threat, and so it was terrifying. And I'll get to that. But it starts off, and I'm, running into different coworkers from my work, and they're all distorted. You know how dreams are. They're distorted. Parts of them, for some reason, are just elongated and whatnot. They're not fully there, but I can recognize them. In my brain, they are exactly how they're supposed to look. And the interesting thing is that I kept flipping in and out of being aware that I was in a dream. The moment I woke up, the moment I went in, as I told you, I was aware that I had this dream before. And I was kind of aware that I was dreaming the whole time. That's something that's happened a lot as of late, especially as of late with me. When I dream, I'm aware that I'm dreaming, but part of me is either too interested in what might happen to stop it, or part of me is, just too tired to wake up. This was an instance of me being interested. Well, a bit of both, actually. I'd say a bit of both. So I'm meeting these coworkers, I'm seeing, the place, it's kind of familiar. And my work has 3 different departments to it. It's got a decor department, that middle department, and it's got a wood department. And I was in that middle department, right there. So I'm at, I'm closer to I'm closer to the decor department than the wood department, But I'm still in that middle department. And, the lights dim. There's enough of a light at the center of the room, this big, echoey kind of warehouse space. There's enough light left in the middle of the room to kind of give me an idea of where everything is. It illuminates enough of the environment. But, the edges of the room, very dark. Out of nowhere in my face, and this is gonna piss some people off because, I'm being, a phobe, but I assure you, this is just a dream. Out of nowhere, it's as if, how do I paint this picture for you? This figure confronts me, right? And this figure, I can't do justice by describing it. You're gonna have to do some imagining of your own. But it's this woman that's been fused with the kind of art style, kind of crappy graphics, if you will, of Baldi's Basics, oddly enough. Even though I haven't, seen anything to do with Baldi's Basics in months. She's kind of got that, 2D, shitty graphic kind of look that only Baldi Basics has, right? On top of that, it's like she's been fused with the Dredge from Dead by Daylight, which is... That's not good. That's not good. On top of that, it's as if this lady, who's been fused with Baldi's Basics and the Dredge, as if that wasn't already enough, has been fused with the baby from Resident Evil Village, the one in House Beneviento. So what you're looking at is this very unrealistic in terms of quality, but this very blobby, kind of glob-like lady that's very fat. Her eyes are black voids, right? But somehow you always know exactly where she's looking. Curly Bobby brown hair-ish, darker brown, but brown hair. A whiter skin tone, not too white, she's not pale, but a whiter skin tone. And a brown shirt, say dirt brown. right? The thing about her that makes her the most terrifying of all for me was the fact that her jaw, and this is kind of where the baby comes in, her jaw was just sinking into her chest. And she still had like her chins underneath that, but her jaw was sinking into her chest, just very elongated. Like I'm talking from the top of your lip to like halfway down your sternum. It was something. And you couldn't see the end of it. Like you couldn't see gums, you couldn't see the back of her mouth, nothing like that. As big as her mouth was, it was just a black hole. It was a void. You couldn't tell what was going on. And she had teeth all around, scattered, but all all around her mouth. Where the sleep paralysis comes in is that despite all this being very updated, sorry, throat's itchy. Despite the environment being updated, despite my coworkers now looking like my coworkers rather than random people, despite all of that, this lady was the one constant from the dream I had as a kid. Looked pretty much the exact same. Maybe less emphasis on the jaw, but just about the exact same, right? So I wake up, it's like 3:12. But that's a rough guess from my memory, admittedly. I know I checked my phone a few times, but I think at that point I was out of it. I woke up 3 different times. First time I woke up, I couldn't move. And that was my first experience of sleep paralysis. I'd woken up, heart racing, mouth open, breathing heavily. But I couldn't move. My room, pretty much pitch black. So I'm looking around, can't see much, can't move my body, fall right back asleep. Go back in, the lady's even closer to me now. I'm talking whereas before, it's kind of across the street distance. Now, halfway to me. Wake up again. I'm maybe 5 minutes later. Well, it felt like it. Again, rough estimate. I think maybe this time is 3:12. Because sleep paralysis starts. Heart rate's even faster. Breathing even heavier. Starting to sweat a little bit, you know. Genuine fear. This lady giving me immense anxiety. I toss and turn a little bit. I think that's when I check my phone. I think that's when I know it's 3:12 in the morning. I don't want to fall asleep again. I am beginning to get genuinely afraid of falling asleep, but I fall asleep again because I'm just that tired. Like I said, I was exhausted from work all week. Lady's so close to me now. I'm talking face to face, right in front of me. And she is massive. All right. And I wake up. I'm hot as hell. Heart racing, breathing heavily from the mouth. My brain is running through 1,000 thoughts at once. All I knew is that I couldn't fall asleep again. I was fucking terrified. I was absolutely petrified in that moment. I tossed, I turned, I did what I had to. I lifted my head from the pillow. I managed to get out of the sleep paralysis because I was that afraid that I think I'd woken myself up enough. I lifted my head from the pillow because I knew the moment I put it back down, I was going to fall asleep again. I grabbed my phone. It's now 3:44. All right. I grab my phone. I scroll Instagram for a little bit because I know I have to distract myself, but my vision still blurry from just waking up. In fact, the matter is, it's not engaging enough. Scrolling, Instagram, it didn't do enough with my hands, so I knew I was bound to fall asleep again. So I had to distract myself. I go on to Squad Busters, which is a mobile game I have on my phone. I go on to Squad Busters. I play a match of that. Somehow I do good in that match. I think I got 4th place. But I play a match of that, right? And I'm not settled. I'm not okay. but I don't know what else I can do. I was doing everything I could to try and find something to distract my mind so that when I went back to sleep, I would have maybe a different dream. I happen to know what kind of influences my mind and what could and what couldn't, but I was very limited in my resources at that time, and with how slow I was thinking due to being tired and how situationally unaware I was of my environment despite the consciousness and despite the understanding of what was happening, I couldn't do much. I couldn't do much but sit there, afraid to sleep. And that was horrible. I don't think I've felt genuine fear like that in so long, if ever. It was terrifying. And that's a dream that I've had at a younger age. That is a dream I've had before. That is concerning. And I'm obviously beginning to talk a bit more in past tense because, yeah, when I went back to sleep, luckily, this time I stayed asleep. This time, I didn't have that dream. I don't think I dreamt again that night. This time I was okay. But I woke up that morning. I didn't feel great. I didn't feel alright in the slightest. But I knew it would make for something I had to discuss. Whether for good or for bad, you know. But it was something that was just so intense. And it was an experience that I can't even put into words perfectly to give you the full picture. But it was a sequence that was so intense and so beyond anything I've ever dealt with. I figured, yeah, I'd talk about it on a vlog, why not? It was horrible. At the same time, though, it was very interesting. Like, I don't know how many of you watching this have had sleep paralysis. It's interesting in a way. I mean, obviously I wish it was under better circumstances. But that was wild. And I don't know, you know, I hope I don't go through it again for a very long time. But that's a story. So let me know your sleep paralysis experiences in the description below, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this point. I hope I did some justice with this story. Hopefully it didn't sound too lame or too boring to all of you here. And, yeah. Have a good night, everyone.